Hi, Tucker. I'm Todd. Hi, Todd. I'm Tucker.
As you can tell, I'm not a rapper.
And I don't know how to spell shillelagh.
Not like that.
Sup, kids? Do you like Dublin? Do you want to steamy stick shillelaghs through both my thumbprints?
Gross. Hang on just one moment.
I'm hanging on.
All right, now we're in good shape.
Ship shape, even?
The shippitiest shape.
Do we regret that we... Oh, since I guess you did say... It never actually occurred to me until today that we could have called the pirate blackface, but if we can't say blackface at all, then I suppose we'll just stay away from that one.
You mean Blackbush? I was always very fond of that name.
I am fond of Blackbush, but I also do think it's kind of funny if it would have been blackface, but maybe that's because that... I don't know. There probably already is a Blackface the pirate somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're not even allowed to talk about him or her.
Maybe that's who our current prime minister is. That's Blackface the pirate.
Oh my gosh. Never ever do anything that you're not willing to have brought back up 20 years later when you're leading a country.
I don't know. I feel like when I was walking through the doors to put my name on the list to be considered for election, I would be going through all the things in my mind of, what? Is there anything that they could bring up? And then I would just turn around because I know there's a whole bunch of shit they would bring up.
Yeah, I would walk myself right back out of that building.
I would go, oh, this was a silly idea. I must have been, hi.
I'd put my own hand on my shoulder and say, look, come on. No, let's go.
Let's not go to the House of Lords. 'Tis a silly place.
It's only a model.
It's only a brothel. It's only a
Interesting. Interesting. Now, looks like we're still doing Grim Graham's rhymes.
It's always Grim Graham's rhymes. I am Grim Grady.
So how did recording go?
I think it went good. We got our clerk for our assassins, and we have, or I guess our clerk for our cops, and we have our dated girl for the fishermen, and we have our Edith receptionist woman for the assassins.
Oh, y'all been busy then. Very good.
Well, because they really are only like 1 or 2 lines per thing.
Yes, especially for just the lady parts. Oh God, now I've done it.
The lady parts.
Yeah, gotta remind myself. Can't say lady parts.
They're both lady parts and lady bits.
Oh, you definitely can't say lady bits.
Oh, bits and pieces. Bits and bytes? No.
Only if she asks. But
with consent only.
Yeah, naturally. That applies to everything.
I think I was going to propose perhaps we kind of flesh out the Matrix thing today, since there has kind of been an actual zeitgeist adjustment.
Yeah, although I do like that we kind of had our finger on the Matrix pulse.
I guess it was just in the air.
If you ask me, that was just a natural progression of things, because once you've been through all the stuff that Neo's been through over however many films, the only thing I'd be able to think about was not thinking about everything that I've been thinking about for the last while. So it would only be blue pills.
Well, yeah, the red pill is played out, and it's kind of funny because I think I had actually the beginning of the whole genesis of it was, I think I proposed that it was a red pill sketch, that it was about being addicted to red pills, just an internet douche, and then it turned into Neo being addicted to blue pills.
Well, I thought it came from being based in blue pilled.
And it started off as red pills. It was just going to be red pill articles. It was just going to be like an incel character reading shit online and being addicted to pills, and then it just evolved from there.
Into the true Matrix sequel that they can never take away from us.
That they were too cowardly to make.
Because we uploaded ours before their trailer hit, so we're officially, that was us.
That will, yes. I see you've broken your arm also.
Yeah, all that patting myself on the back. I need rotator cuff surgery.
Hey man, I saw the trailer and it made me feel like a little boy. Like, hey, they stole our idea, but obviously millions of dollars have gone into something that came before we had the idea. But I'm still.
Oh yeah, if we're seeing the trailer for it now, they wrote and shot that a year ago, but they can't prove it.
But it also gives us an opportunity to kind of type into, or not type into. I mean, it is literally typing into, but plug into a little bit of trending.
Matrix related jokes.
Jesus. And that wasn't a Matrix related joke. God, we're really going down the rabbit hole with this one.
Okay, we're gonna have to stop. Somebody's gonna have to stop us.
Jim Carrey could stop us. Or at least the mask.
I would let Jim Carrey do anything to me, including stop me.
So you would be his yes man.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Majestic even.
Well, I'm glad you're in a good mood.
I'm a little playful.
Yeah, we can tell.
Okay, so did you want to start off this? Because last time we recorded the Tip Your Waitress sketch, I ended up working that into the episode proper I just edited it together as the audio was edited in the video, and then I had Craig narrate it the way that it's written in the script.
Yeah. Did you want to do that again?
I'm not sure. Do you want to do that again? I mean, I guess it literally goes by in minutes. We could bang this out of the way, and then we can move on to, were we going to do government tonight? Were we going to do mafia?
Well, I mean, you did want to flesh out the blue pills bit, which that probably isn't ready to be recorded. It's basically going to be rewritten.
That's true. Okay, so we'll do these short ones. We'll record these, and then we'll move on to that one and see how long that takes.
Yeah, which one did you want to get started with, and draw straws for who gets whose voice?
We'll do the really short ones first. So we'll do Mr. Ed Guest and Silent J. So we'll start with Mr. Ed Guest.
Well, that's easy because at the very least we're just playing ourselves in that one.
Yeah, that's the easiest one. So this will be our little warm up.
Yeah, I'm kind of dreading having to pull out my Columbo impression that's not ready. And one more thing. Yeah.
Hey, that's up there though.
No, it needs work.
But I can hear you like leaning into it now.
Yeah, well, I've been watching a lot of it.
That's so funny. Method acting. Oh, here's a little question.
Oh, yeah, I've been solving crimes too.
That's cool. I started rewatching Dirk Gently since you brought it up recently.
I love Dirk Gently.
That show is so good, and I'm so sad to learn it got canceled.
It got canceled because it was too cerebral.
It was so good, though. Douglas Adams I never really think of him as a very formative voice, but I read the shit out of those Hitchhiker's books when I was in high school.
He's a genius.
You cannot get me into Doctor Who, though. I'm sorry.
I'm not interested in Doctor Who. It's too British.
But there's a limit as we quote everything British, but then we get to that's the line.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line of too British. Blackadder was fine. Monty Python was great. Fry and Laurie were good. That Doctor Who, too British.
The Peep Show. What was the David Mitchell one? All our panel shows, QI, everything. But fucking Doctor Who, nah.
I will watch anything with David Mitchell in it.
What was his goddamn show? Webb and the Webb.
That Mitchell and Webb look.
Yeah, that one.
But I like Peep Show better. It had more of David's like awkward, nervous energy.
But that's why I like him on the panel shows, is because his personality just comes out of himself.
All right. Shall we begin?
Let us begin.
On their TV set, fade in from black and push in on our hosts mid-conversation.
And that's why it's technically a felony, but it was expunged from my record.
Weird. Did I tell you my idea for a new segment?
Which one? I lose count.
Well, it's sort of like the secret word in Pee-wee's Playhouse, except it's a secret guest.
How would that work?
Well, the guest hides backstage, and if we happen to say their name, they pop out and surprise us.
That's stupid. Whose name are we just going to randomly say in conversation?
Well, like, we could be building a Frankenstein's monster out of toys, and I might say, hey, could you pass me that Dolly Parton, that box? And Dolly Parton would jump out from behind a curtain.
Tucker glares at Todd with disgust and a tinge of loathing.
Are we in a sketch now? Did you write that? Why would you say it like that? Why would Dolly Parton be a guest on this show?
That was a sound example of the premise. Riddle me this, smartass. Who would be a guest on this show? You write a better guest name wordplay.
Anyone making a guest appearance on our show is probably being held against their will, and I won't stoop to that level twice, sir. Do you have a name for the segment?
I was just going to call it Mystery Goose.
Oh, Wilbur!
Tucker makes a decidedly unmanly sound of alarm upon witnessing this,
Ugh!
and Todd stares blankly at the famous horse as he emerges from backstage.
That doesn't count. You were saying mystery guest.
Yes, Wilbur!
Sorry, mister. Just give us a moment. Don't look at me. I don't book the guests.
Greg?
I thought tonight was the Stop Beating a Dead Horse sketch.
That got held back by those Humane Society meetings.
Yeah, I told you to book one of our friends so we could laugh it off if it failed.
I called straight woman multiple times, sir. But each time I must have just missed her, I guess.
Oh, Wilbur!
Shut
up.
up!
And scene.
Okay, we'll do Silent J.
I first I want to say I like how I keep opening these with some kind of personal diatribe.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Do you want to be opening them with diatribe? Do you want to switch the character? I wasn't sure. I try to give us equal measures of between sketches. We balance out. Sometimes we're stupid and sometimes we're self-aware.
No, I think it makes perfect sense for Tucker to be that way. He's a bit more verbose.
Yeah.
He's a bit too much of a talker, and so he's definitely the one who would be doing that.
And Todd gets lost in his thoughts and asks questions when maybe a question doesn't need to be asked.
All right. I will begin.
Fade in from Black and push in on Tucker and Todd in their podcast studio.
You know, he's sort of stoic, sort of philosophical. Doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, he drops big facts.
Like Silent J?
What? You mean Silent Bob? Jay was the mouthy one.
No, my cousin's friend, Silent J.
The camera pans to the letter J dressed like Silent Bob and smoking a joint. English subtitles appear on screen as he speaks.
La escena de hoy es presentada por la... No, I probably shouldn't do an accent, sorry.
I wanted to know if that was coming up.
I'm going to have that read in a Spanish TTS voice is what I'm going to do.
Okay, good idea.
La escena de hoy es presentada por la J silenciosa como en la palabra inglesa para marihuana.
What the hell? Where did that music come from? I appreciate the subtitles, by the way.
The camera pans again to Silent J, who either shrugs or points off frame. The camera pans once again to several other letters dressed as a mariachi band, playing instruments that look like the Three Amigos.
Okay, yeah, maybe this is getting too silly.
There's no way we're getting away with this.
And scene.
Okay, who wants to be the fisherman? I guess that should be you if I'm going to be Columbo.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so I got Jess to do the woman's voice. And she...
Yeah, so you're going to have to be talking to yourself.
Okay, I will be the guy.
And one more thing. Nope.
This sketch begins with a prolonged montage of a handsome gentleman going on many dates with a plethora of attractive women. It is void of dialogue, but an upbeat jazzy score plays throughout. We see him conversing charismatically with all of his dates, and even though the sheer number of dates is up there, he appears engaged and enthusiastic with each one. He is attentive and the dates are enamored. Everyone is delighted. As the montage nears its end, the music fades and we see that each one of these dates has resulted in the women coming home with our gentleman. One by one, he leads them onto the elevator to his fancy penthouse. The frame splits into multiple cells as we see each them all necking and nuzzling each other on the ride to the top floor and simultaneously ding as they arrive. We return to a single frame as they step through the doors into his apartment.
Oh, your place is incredible. Who's your designer?
I've honestly always just had a natural eye for making spaces warm and inviting. You should see the bedroom.
He winks.
Ding!
Oh, I'd love to.
As they step into the bedroom, the guy claps twice, causing the lights to dim and mood music to softly play in the background. Maybe one of those colored disco balls drops from the ceiling and a wall compartment flips over to reveal a liquor cabinet. Go egregious or go home.
Just let me slip into something more comfortable.
He whips back his arms dramatically as his clothes fall off in a single motion, revealing that he is wearing only a metal chastity belt, perhaps with a jeweled codpiece because we've already come this far. The woman stares in stunned silence.
The path to pleasure lies beyond lock and key. To earn it, you must solve my riddles 3.
The frame splits into multiple cells again as we see the faces of all the women he's brought home screaming in horror and fleeing the premises in some manner. Being as they all thought they were going to have a sexy time, they are in various stages of undress. As the frame consolidates again, we see the guy holding one of the abandoned shoes and gently tapping it in his other palm as he watches one of the women fleeing.
That's okay. I'll find the right one someday.
A figure approaches him from the shadows within the apartment.
Is that a right or a left?
This one's a lefty.
A hand with a small cigar between the index and middle fingers reaches out to remove the shoe from our gentleman's grasp.
Very good. You keep doing work like this, you'll be rising up in the ranks in no time.
Thanks, boss. Am I always gonna have to catfish him, though?
Columbo cups the guy's face in his hands kinda roughly.
Hey, cat, dog, 1, 2, red, blue. I don't care. What are you? You're a what?
I said I'm a fisherman, boss.
That's right. And one of the best. So get fishing.
Columbo shoves the fisherman knot gently and watches as he collects his clothes and disappears onto the elevator. He pulls out an old flip phone and punches in a speed dial.
Fire up the chopper. We've got a boat to catch.
And scene.
I'm still not 100% happy with my Columbo.
Well, it'll get better with time. Remember how Homer got better with time?
Yeah, he sure did. I'll keep practicing. But for now, I think this one is done.
This one's done. Check it off the list. Off to, I think, let's do Assassin.
I've been looking forward to this one, but I'm not sure how to do the dad's voice for this either. Oh, speaking of which, who's who?
Who's who?
We got 2 dads.
I think I will be other father.
You get to say, oh, hi, Mark.
So here's the thing. I was going to ask you, are Tucker and Todd playing these fathers, or are these fathers that we're going to have as part of our kind of like world later?
I don't know if either of them will ever turn up again.
I don't think they really need to. They are helping introduce the kids, which will be part of the world, but
in fact, they could probably be the exact same character cutout, but with like a different colored shirt.
Yeah.
Just to kind of illustrate how interchangeable and unimportant they are.
Oh, well, in that case, should we just let the 2 men in this be voiced by American TTS voices, or should we do these?
We should probably do these. They have a lot of dialogue.
That's true. This is one of the more written ones. Yeah. I don't want to lose this. This is one of the better written ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe they are just in our plain voices then, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Tucker and Todd aren't quite just our conversational voices. They have a little bit of a cartoonesque flair to them as well. That kind of just comes out when you're being silly.
Yeah, you're projecting into the microphone.
We'll just go with it and see how it is.
This scene begins with an exterior shot of a single-family home. There might be a white picket fence and a sunrise and wakey music playing. The camera shifts to the interior and everything seems calm and serene as the camera moves through the house. A sudden child's scream pierces the silence, a door flings open, and a man runs out just as a flying knife narrowly misses his head and becomes lodged in the wall. A small child with an old lady face appears in the doorway and parkers up the furniture to pluck the knife out of the wall, landing back on the floor in a Spider-Man crouch. The camera cuts to our single dad hiding in a pantry, fumbling with the phone. We can hear the voice on the other side of the phone loudly projecting.
Oh, hi, Mark. What can I do you for?
Tommy, I need your help. I adopted a kid from that agency you recommended, but this child is wild, man. Oh, shit. Everything was fine until the car was in the driveway, and then it was like a goddamn action flick. A knife came out one sleeve, a gun appeared in the other hand. I think she's wearing a fucking bandolier. The past 14 hours has been like Die Hard meets Predator.
The camera cuts to other father's house where he is hurtling over the furniture to escape from the barrage of weaponry being hurled at him. But he's not scared. He's conditioned for this.
Oh yeah, I remember my first few days. They really take you by surprise, the stinkers.
What? I'm not exaggerating, dude. I was able to hold her off at first, but she doesn't get tired. She doesn't stop swinging. This kid is hunting me.
Back to single dad.
You'll figure it out, man. We believe in you. I gotta go. Someone's at the door.
Single dad stares at his dial-toning handset in disbelief for a moment before furrowing his brow and dialing another number.
Forever Young Adoptions, this is Edith. How may I direct your call?
Yes, hello. I adopted one of your children, and I believe mine is defective. I'd like to return it, or perhaps do an exchange.
I can't just do a return on one of our children.
Then what am I supposed to do with her?
You'll have to bring her in. I can't process a return over the phone.
Oh, I think I can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. While I have you on the line, I recommend protection. Body armor, an athletic cup.
He hangs up on her. Taking a steadying breath, he bursts from the pantry and somersaults as 3 shurikens zip over him and stick into the door. He lunges at the child as she reaches for a blade on her calf and swoops her off the ground. He holds her at a perfect 90-degree angle from him as she swings and stabs relentlessly at his chest. Now that she's at arm's length, he can see her face is wrinkled and worn. Grey roots are showing under her dyed red hair.
You're not a child?
Did you not read the manual?
I skimmed it.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Single dad dangles her aloft by her overalls and reaches into the pantry from which he had burst just moments ago. He pulls out a frying pan which he then holds over his crotch and looks to camera.
Just in case.
He exits the frame with the non-child in one hand and the frying pan in the other. We can hear the sound of metal clanking on metal as the scene fades to black. The next shot is an exterior establishing shot of our adoption agency with muffled war sounds coming from within. Inside, our dad and non-child are taking a number in the waiting room. They are 20th in line. Other parents in similar situations are spread throughout the room in various states of distress. One man is dead, his cold fingers clutching a ticket with the number that is currently being read on the public address.
Number 79? Now serving 79.
Single dad drops the frying pan and plucks the ticket from the corpse's hand. He approaches the service counter.
That's us? That's me?
The non-child immediately relents as she falls under Edith's gaze. Dad places her on the ground next to him and she stands at attention.
At ease, honey.
The child relaxes and slumps against the counter.
Are you the man who wanted to do the return over the phone?
Yes, this child is not a child.
Didn't you read the manual?
That's what I said.
The non-child joins in with the tutting and they both tut at single dad until it becomes weird.
Okay, so I didn't read the manual. What are you gonna do about it?
Edith steps out from behind the service counter and kneels down to stroke the non-child's hair. They both stand and face single dad, Edith's hand on the non-child's shoulder.
Were you wanting to return or exchange?
Exchange, please. I want a proper child.
Fine.
Edith scoops up the little assassin and the camera pans to reveal 2 library/video store return slots in the wall. She unceremoniously tosses the non-child through the slot marked exchanges and does the that's that with her hands.
Your exchange is processed. Your replacement should step through one of those doors momentarily.
The camera pans again to a series of elaborate doors. The first is decorated with textbooks and graduation caps and spectacles and rolls of parchment. The next is very futuristic and techy. The third is covered in satin and fishnet and lace. So on and so forth. They are all covered in cobwebs and dust except for one door in the middle which is shaped like a skull and is covered in an assortment of blades and spikes.
Excuse me, Edith? Those other doors look like they've never been used.
You really should have read the manual.
The skull door opens and the tiniest toddler waddles forward as a blanket of fog tumbles around his feet. The camera pushes in on his shining eyes and his adorable little haircut. The camera cuts back to Dad as his shoulders relax slightly and he affords a relieved grin. Back to the toddler, his lips curl up into a reflection of Dad's grin as the camera comes to rest at a close-up. Then the music stops and the brows furrow and the grin settles into a frown and the toddler says in the gruffest East Coast biker guy voice,
Goo goo. Gaga.
and scene.
All right, are you ready to do Fargo Cops? Do you think this one is complete? Are you happy with part 1, part 2 idea?
Yes. These guys are so good that I want them to keep coming back. So
They're fun to do.
also, I made sure to add a whole bunch of those little, the simple stuff that I'm gonna just call them you betchas.
They are you betchas. Yes, that is what they are called.
Yeah, it's a little easier to call them than calling them don't you knows.
That is, I guess, sort of the more universally applied term for them.
Because I definitely heard that lady cop in Fargo say you betcha.
Many times.
Oh, you betcha. Speaking of which, I call dibs on Ken.
Okay, you are Ken then.
This sketch is a parody of comedians in cars getting coffee. The only shots available throughout the sketch are the GoPros in the patrol car and the helicopter shot, maybe body cams. 2 municipal police officers are on a cross-country manhunt for a fellow who committed an unknown crime. But they are so passive that they refuse to directly arrest him and instead insist on urging him to turn himself in. We join them inside their patrol car on day 3 of the chase.
Okay, well, we're out here on the 3rd day of this here hunt. We got Ken here driving for the next shift. Thanks, Ken.
Oh, you betcha.
It's been a real nail-biter so far, if you've been following along with us. And if you have been following along, we'd like to extend you our kindest regards. Thanks for watching.
You betcha. Thanks.
All right, so back to business here. We've been after this fella for a good 3 days, right? And boy, is he giving chase.
The camera cuts to an exterior/helicopter shot of the patrol car and their quarry within 10 meters of each other, cruising leisurely in the right lane as other cars pass them.
Ted, I do believe if you're going to use that particular turn of phrase correctly, we'd be the ones given chase.
Is that right?
I said I do believe so.
Well, hold on, though. If we're the ones chasing after him, we wouldn't have anything to chase after if he weren't the one running in the first place, right? So, he's the one giving us a chase to have.
Well, shoot. I have to say, I guess you got me there, Ted.
Ted taps his temple with a sage sigh.
You got all the answers in here, don't you know? Just gotta take a second to root around and find them.
Oh, you betcha. Oh, look, he's pulling over again.
Ken swings the patrol car into a truck stop/gas station behind their fugitive's vehicle. The fugitive pulls up to a gas pump and the cops stop on the opposite side of the same pump. They all get out of their respective vehicles and begin refueling.
Hey, bud. I don't want to spook you, but it's us, the cops.
Yeah, I know.
The previous shot didn't show the patrol car has the lights going. It does now.
Oh, right.
He accidentally turns on the siren and the wipers and the megaphone starts squealing with feedback and everyone at the truck stop cringes and boos.
Is it okay if we have a chat?
Look, I told you yesterday, I'm not turning myself in.
Oh, come on.
The fugitive is wrapping up refueling. He closes the gas cap hatch and turns toward the mini-mart.
I'm going to California. There's nothing for me back there.
The cops follow him into the store and weave through the aisles, loading up on snacks as they go. Decorating hot dogs, filling cups with Slurpees, etc.
Well, technically, there's a courtroom and a trial and a prison cell for you back there, don't you know?
Yeah, you ain't exactly innocent.
I'm not denying my guilt.
Nice.
But I'm not going to atone for it by rotting in a cell for the rest of my life. Come on!
What would your mom say?
Do not bring my mother into this.
Sorry, you're right. I'm sorry, too far. It just felt like we were getting somewhere for a second.
It's okay. It's a tense time for all of us. Oh, you betcha!
Is all this together?
The trio has arrived at the checkout counter. The fugitive places a bottled water on till and pulls out his wallet. The cops, with arms full of junk food, bite their lips and tug on their collars and grin meaningfully at the fugitive. The shot of the 2 cops holding their spoils with hopeful faces then smash cuts to them in the same positions but now in the car with frowns and no snacks.
That always seems to work for cops on TV.
We are the cops on TV, Ted.
Oh, yeah.
They ride in silence for a moment as a mournful song plays on the radio.
I thought the show was supposed to be us questioning the convict in the car.
It was, but the script is already 3 pages. I think we're going to have to do a part 2.
Does that mean we're done?
Yeah, for now.
Thank Christ. I'm dying for a hot dog now.
The interior of the patrol car and the scenery beyond disappears completely, and the cops are left standing in the T+T green screen room.
Well, I'm hot for a dogging. I'll be in my trailer. Text me when they write part 2.
Oh, you betcha.
And scene.
How was that?
I think that was perfect.
Okay. I jumped in and decided to just do the fugitive.
Yeah, I think that worked out good.
So long as I differentiated their voices enough.
Yeah, they do sound like different characters.
Okay, good enough. It sounded quite similar to me, but I tried to make the Minnesota cop just have a different intonation and a slightly lighter pitch in tone.
It was also more projected. You can tell it's a little bit louder. And I can even EQ it a bit if we need to.
Well, all right then.
I think that's it. I think all we have now is if we want to work on developing the blue pill thing.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
So I will, in order to reintroduce us to the concept, I'm going to read out the exposition that I wrote for the script, and then we can figure out how we actually want to depict that.
Right on.
So following the events of the Matrix films, Neo decides that he's had enough of the war against the agents and the powers that be. Reality is overwhelming and awful, and he wants to go back to the comforting illusion of the Matrix. He's turned to taking blue pills to counteract the effect of the red pills. While they don't achieve the same effect as undergoing a dramatic rebirth, they do allow him to escape into a numb, hallucinogenic state for short periods. We might see a montage of that regression as the weight of being a universe savior begins to wear on Neo. The agents are always coming back bigger and in greater numbers. He's bored, he's depressed, but he couldn't stand to disappoint everyone, literally everyone, but especially Morpheus, especially Trinity. He can't be weak for them. So here and there, we see him sneaking a blue pill in between his duties, throwing a couple back when Trinity steps out of the room for a minute, but it doesn't take long for them to notice his faraway expression. They discover his stash and decide as a group that an intervention might be overwhelming, so Morpheus will sit down to have a one-on-one, blah, blah, blah. So do we want the story to start? First of all, do we want it to be a therapist session so we get this exposition? Neo's telling somebody that he's tired and he needs a change.
Who's his therapist?
Well, see, so when I texted you, I said because Neil Patrick Harris is the therapist in the new movie, I thought it would be funny if is it Dr. Horrible or Dr. Terrible?
I don't remember.
It's Dr. Horrible. Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog was a Joss Whedon project. By the way, is Joss Whedon canceled?
Yeah, but he's canceled for what he did to Justice League, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, that's funny. It was a little project in which Nathan Fillion was the hero character, but it was a musical sing-along internet blog was the concept. So Neo's therapist could be that Neil Patrick Harris character.
Either that or his therapist is actually just Agent Smith.
I just thought it would also maybe potentially be funny if it was Neil Patrick Harris dressed up as Neo Patrick Harris.
Oh, I like that. So wait, Neo definitely isn't in his Matrix clothes, but Neo Patrick Harris is in Neo's Matrix clothes. Like he's got the long leather coat and the boots, and he's wearing sunglasses indoors because he's a jackass.
Is it because he's a fan?
Yes.
Does he want signatures from Neo? And Neo's like, listen, I'm trying to get over those days.
Is this their first meeting ever then?
No, I don't know. Probably not.
Because any exchange of signatures and stuff, that probably would have been their very first meeting.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we pan over. He's got a signed picture on the wall.
Now, a therapy session with Neo would be great, but I think a scene that comes in before that introduces other characters discussing that Neo has a problem, but leaving it vague as to what that problem is. But it should be, the Gathering, Morpheus, Trinity, Agent Smith, the Oracle. They should be discussing in concerned terms that Neo has a problem and that they all agree to support him.
Oh, that's so much more communicative and expressive. So much more can be done in a shorter amount of time with that. If we had that scene of them kind of talking with each other about the problem, and then that can be it can cut back and forth with them and B-roll of Neo having his addict moments.
Exactly. It can go back and forth between them because it'll be they're also going to discuss, rather than having a sort of confrontational intervention, they're going to have the one of them that is closest to Neo, which actually is Morpheus rather than Trinity, go and speak to him one-on-one and, express their combined sentiments. So that's how you get the Morpheus and Neo side by side.
Okay, so it starts off with all of these external characters. I'm just calling them external characters. All of these secondary characters.
All of these non-Neo characters.
These non-Neo, yes, non-Neo. It's like a non-zero number is a non-Neo character.
Non-Neo also means not Neo Patrick Harris.
That's true. But so yeah, that will just be a visual joke. So the main it'll be the A roll will be the conference between those characters, and then that will become voiceover over silent montage scenes of Neo in addict moments. And one of those addict moments is Neo in therapy with Neo Patrick Harris, but we don't hear them talking with each other. We just see the camera panning over them as the crew talks with each other.
So the turning point where he actually sticks his head underneath the blue pill faucet, that's after therapy.
Yeah.
It means therapy has failed him. That's sad.
Yeah, because therapy kind of would have been the starting point. That's when he got his first prescription, and then it became a problem later.
That's right. That's how he got prescribed ever since he went to that therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Trinity says. And then that's how he got the blue pills, is because the therapist is a goddamn dickhead who's just a Neo fanboy. He'd write him a prescription for anything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, he becomes yeah, because he's an enabler, because he's a Neo simp.
Ooh, Neo Patrick Harris.
But I like that. Ever since he went to, because my speculation, just having seen that trailer, it seemed very obvious that Neil Patrick Harris's glasses were a striking blue. So I kind of wondered if he works for the computers.
I don't know if do you want to include that sort of angle in this, or is he just like a throwaway? He shows up for that one blip and he meets Neo and he's dressed as Neo from the first Matrix film right at the end. And of course Neo's going to have flashbacks because of that, and then thus prescription. Yeah,
I want it to stay that way. I don't want our sketch to become like theory crafting based on the trailer.
Yeah, we have our own universe. We don't need to write the Matrix universe, even though we definitely do better than whatever they did in that trailer. And we wouldn't recast Morpheus.
When I saw those blue pills falling into the sink, it was like, ah.
It was, the speed record. I think I broke it, patting myself on the back.
You floated off the ground. You became a hummingbird.
I think I did a full backflip.
Okay, so yes, that is them doing that, and I guess that's sort of it. That is the beginning, and then
but that like significantly expands the front end of this.
Yeah, we had nothing ready. We just had the end.
Okay, so yeah, it starts with a meeting of all non-Neos, and then during that meeting, they're discussing the matter, and as they say stuff, it will cut to this scene or that of Neo, and one of them, of course, that damn therapist, and then that's when we see Neo Patrick Harris, and then we're gonna cut to at the end, like after the therapy's over. Pardon my rambling. After the therapy little clip is over, it will cut to them agreeing that Morpheus will be the one to bring this to Neo gently, kindly, and then that begins the rest of what's in here.
Yeah, and I think we might actually see that enabling relationship progress with. So we'll see Neo Patrick Harris a couple of times. We'll see him the first time he goes. Neo looks very clean cut. He's in nice clothes, and each time he goes, he looks a little bit worse. And Neo Patrick Harris is like giving him bigger and bigger prescriptions, or maybe at one point he's just giving him like a duffel bag full of pills.
Oh yeah, a whole duffel bag. So should we actually start Neo Patrick Harris mostly normal and then have him become progressively more Neo as it goes on?
Oh yeah.
So that they both kind of change in a visual gag. He becomes more, leather jacket and sunglasses indoors wearing.
Yeah, he starts becoming more Neo, and Neo starts becoming more Keanu.
Yeah, he's gonna come back with a beard and like a missing left ring finger.
At one point, he has to be sitting on the bench. He has to be doing the meme pose.
Oh, naturally. And since all Keanu characters are the same, we can bring Neo back later to fight demons and also fight hitmen.
Or wait, instead of a therapy, like a chaise lounge, does he have? He just has a bench in the therapist's office, and that's what he's sitting on talking to the therapist.
Yeah, probably. That's funnier.
One of those. Do we need to change the end then?
We can leave it open-ended, but I do like the way that it did end, because his blue pill addiction just continues to overcome him because they have yet to be able to effectively reach him. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a true statement about addiction.
And he definitely doesn't want to be this way. That's why he's going to therapy.
Precisely. And the people that want to do all the helping, as much as it's, I mean, I hate to say that like it's hopeless, but Morpheus and Trinity literally can't do anything. It's not up to them. It's up to Neo.
Well, they can't live his life for him, that's for sure.
No.
But what they do is the right thing. They're just providing their support and doing their best to facilitate this environment where Neo feels more relaxed and safe, because feeling insecure and all that just leads to relapse.
Yeah, they're not writing him off and abandoning him.
No, they're circling him. But they're doing the right thing. And he's just having a hard time. If anybody's doing the wrong thing, it's Neo Patrick Harris.
That's true. And as a reminder, this sketch ends with cell phone numbers.
Absolutely. We'll make sure that they're included again.
Okay.
Okay, so that gives us something to work on. Now, where do you want to proceed?
We've been talking about Mafia Kids for a while, so I think maybe we should get onto that one.
Okay. Mafia Children. If I recall, there was a discussion that one of us would be looking out one of the windows in the studio. I'm going to assume across the way from that window there's a playground. And in that playground, there are some Mafia children doing some Mafia shit. And one of us sees this and is alarmed and calls the other. But in the typical, cartoony twist of how this goes, by the time the one that gets called shows up, the kids are back to just doing normal kid stuff, leaving the one accusing them of being Mafia kids with a bag of shit in his hands.
Yes, that is the premise. And so that will have to happen. We were going to try, I guess, come up with as many Mafia tropes to put those kids into. But here's what I'm not completely clear on, though. Are they ever actually doing that, or it's just being misinterpreted?
No, they're definitely actually doing that. They're definitely actually a kid mafia. The only thing they're not doing is actually using lethal force. They don't kill each other. We're not going there.
Right. But we did propose several. So the one that I do remember coming up with was rolling somebody up in the little carpet that looks like a town.
Yeah. It's got all the streets all over it. It's for race car toys.
Yeah, for rolling your toys around on. I used to spend so much time in kindergarten on that one.
Me too. I would, it was basically training for Grand Theft Auto.
That's pretty much what it was. I wonder if that's where the idea came from, because it was a top-down game, wasn't it? That's how you played the carpet.
Yeah, that was 1 and 2, and I guarantee you I never drove on the road.
Always on the sidewalk.
It was like playing the floor is lava.
I also invented Parking Simulator or whatever it was, because I spent a lot of time backing into spaces and feeling satisfied that the car fit.
You're on the spectrum.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so rolling a kid up. What are we gonna do?
One kid pushes a younger sibling into the fish tank. Joey's sleeping with the fishes, and then he gets grounded and has to get his brother out, because these mafia children are still subject to the whims of adults.
Does he give him rubber cement shoes and then push him into the aquarium?
Do these kids have access to rubber cement?
Or maybe paper mache, something, plaster of Paris?
Just probably makes him wear his dad's shoes, because they're so much bigger. They must be heavy.
Oh, that's true. That's funny.
And kids wear their dad's shoes all the time. Or mom's high heels. We're not judging.
No, I actually was going to talk about specific memories. I think my mom has photos of me like walking around in her high heels when I was like 2 and 3.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I'm in plenty of those, and I've got like my dad's oversized cowboy hat on while I'm doing it.
We never had a cowboy hat, but I would wear a Tupperware bucket, and that was my helmet.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 of those of me holding a can of beer that's empty, by the way.
Just shotgunning.
just me with my stupid little baby hands, both of them, gripping this can of beer. It's in a koozie and everything. I'm sure there's at least 100 pictures of that.
No, just posed every time. A kid.
Yeah, it was posed. I'm pretty sure I was in somebody's cowboy boots that were actually so long that I was actually just kind of sitting on top of them.
Playing Edward 40 hands.
Yep. Yep. So that's baby stuff. But getting a little older, yeah, little Timmy is gonna make little Joey wear dad's shoes and then push him into the fish tank. And then they're both in trouble because they got dad's shoes wet and like killed a fish.
Okay, so was the first one? So I think you said the premise that you first heard about was the kids at the airport saying "get in the trunk."
Yeah, and he listened.
So do we do that scene and it's the kids in the backyard, but they're in one of those little what are they called? Power wheels or whatever? Get in the trunk.
Yeah, those little foot push cars.
I think we actually talked about doing that with the red and yellow thing, right?
Yep, and you can definitely like abduct another kid with one of those, or sideswipe them, take them out with the door.
Yeah, a drive-by abduction.
You have to have a couple of them though, because there's not a lot of room in those for you to send out your thugs to go and catch someone.
Do we have leave the gun, take the cotton candy?
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Leave the gun, take.
It'll be a little cap gun, but the cotton candy's real for sure.
Oh, leave the gum, take the candy.
Ah, interesting.
Is there something else that sounds like cannoli?
Yeah. No, these kids just like cannoli.
They've got acquired tastes.
Cannoli's a pastry.
I didn't really encounter a cannoli until I was, I don't know, in my late teens, early 20s. But
cannolis are delicious, and these are Italian American kids.
I guess so.
Their blood type is cannoli.
That's true. Okay, fine.
God, I want a cannoli now. Pistachios.
Is that basically just Italian baklava?
No, it's like a rolled pastry filled with stuff and other stuff too.
It's like a sweet cannelloni. These fucking words.
There, I sent a picture.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, one of those is pistachios. It looks to me like one of those is candied orange peel. It looks like one is shaved chocolate.
Fancy. So is it flaky then?
Kind of.
I'm so uncultured.
I know. Okay, but I mean, we can discuss various little scenarios for these kids to get themselves in all day, but unless there's something cohesive that we can use to tie them all together into an actual story, then they're no good to us. What do these kids want? I mean, me seeing them or you seeing them, probably you because you're much taller, you can actually see out the window without the need of a stool. That's our introduction to these kids, but then does the camera pan right out the window past us to the kids and stay with them?
Well, yeah, I guess that is the question. That's the question that I was about to ask. Is it about them, and then we, do we keep having? We have to have multiple run-ins with them in order for us to have like I thought it was something, but it was something else. Hey, look at that, and then it's not what it looked like.
Well, right at the beginning, we can still do that gag I proposed, where when the other is looking, they're doing something completely innocent. But when that one leaves, they start doing their sinister shit again. And then it's like, doesn't matter how many times, eventually they get caught, and that's when the camera will pan past us and just stay with them.
Okay. And so do we have, then we need to come up with a little scenario.
Also, rule of threes. We shouldn't repeat that more than 3 times.
No, I agree. The third one will be the last one that shifts to now we're with them.
Yeah, that's when they actually get caught. You're like, holy shit, you're right. Look at him. It's trying to garrote that kid with licorice.
Oh, well, so is it us that notices? Is it us? We both? So first it's you see it and say, hey, look. And then I don't see it. And then I see it and I say, hey, look. And then you don't see it. And then on the third one, we both see it at the same time. And that's why they're caught?
Yeah, I like that it alternates. That's better.
Okay. And then so do we then tell on them, or do we run away because we want nothing to do with them and that's how we leave the scene? Are we getting rid of us, or are we going with them somewhere?
Oh, we don't have to get rid of us. The camera is looking through the window with us, and as soon as they're caught, there's like oh wow, you're right, they are doing that. Then the camera is just going to go right through the window. It can smash it if you really want, because that's funny. then it zooms all the way to the playground where the kids are and leaves us behind.
Okay, and so now it's about them, and we're not in the rest of it. That was what I'm saying.
Yes, we're gone.
Okay, so they need some sort of little mafia conflict. Do they have some sort of territory war that's going on?
Oh, obviously, one of them took the favorite toy of one of the other ones, and he's interrogating him to try and get it back. But see, the thing is this toy has gone through a long chain of custody of various kids at the playground, so we got to go from one kid to the next to track this thing down.
Oh, they've got a kid strapped down, and they're hitting his knees with a plastic baseball bat.
It squeaks every time.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even a plastic one. It's like one of those inflated ones.
Yeah, it just squeaks. Eventually, he talks. And then the guy who's questioning him, because it's going to be a lot like the knockaround guys, where the guy in the leather jacket, he doesn't actually hit anybody. He just asks questions, and then as the questions go unanswered, his thug in the wife beater starts bashing this guy's knees in with an inflatable hammer.
Yeah, precisely. Squeaker.
Yeah, it looks like the mallet from Super Mario.
Yeah, something you'd win at a carnival.
Something I have won at many carnivals. Are you kidding me? I always got the big hammer and beat the shit out of stuff with it till it was
I could hit something with.
Yeah, till it was ruined. Okay, so this kid eventually squeals. He eventually tells on the next kid down the line, and then leather jacket wearing, short pants having boss. I don't know what do I want to call him? Little Jimmy the Wrench is going to be the thug. So we need a name for our mafia boss kid.
Boy, like top boss.
Yeah, maybe he's not a top boss. Maybe he's just capo level. You know, not all the way up, but still high up. We'll just call him Little Mikey.
Do we want any of the what are they called? Our gang. What are those called? Little Rascals. Do we want any of the Little Rascals in this crew?
Oh, I forgot we had them.
Spanky the Knife.
Ah, yeah, they definitely need to be involved in this child mafia. Anyway, once the questioning is over, then Mikey is definitely going to turn to Jimmy the Wrench and say, "That's it, get rid of this asshole." And then that's when Jimmy the Wrench tries to garrote the guy with a licorice string. and it breaks, and then it breaks in half, and then they share it.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. Yeah.
And then the kid that was getting questioned just kind of runs home.
Oh yeah, so he wraps it around his neck, it breaks around his neck, and then he hands the other half to Jimmy the Wrench or whoever is doing the two bad guys. They walk out laughing as they're kind of like chewing on the ends of their licorice, like it's the like a toothpick.
Oh, I was actually gonna have Jimmy share it with the kid he was strangling.
Oh, okay. I guess that works too.
Like Jimmy's got it and it just breaks around the kid's neck, and then they both stare blankly at each other for a moment before Jimmy just like extends the one end over to him.
Menacingly?
And then he leaves. No, just benign. He just holds it out to him.
No screaming.
He just, yeah, and now get out of here. Kind of like that.
Okay, yeah, I like that too.
At this point, little Mikey is already kind of leaving. He's on his way to go find the next person on the line, whereas Jimmy has been tasked with disposing of this rat.
Do they at some point make a reference to their racketeering business? We got to catch up with how's the racketeering business go, and it's somebody like selling lemonade outside of the tennis courts.
We got to go check on so and the stall. We got to collect their protection payment.
Oh, when you say like the lemonade stall, the lemonade stand.
Yeah, I might as well call it the stand. But they're where are we going now, boss? And then Mikey will just say, we gotta go pay a visit to so and so at the stand. I'm gonna assume that this lemonade seller also works as a good informant. Lemonade makes for loose lips.
I'm trying to work in, maybe it's not at the tennis courts, maybe it's at the rec center. I'm trying to work in rackets being like badminton rackets. Maybe they're a good informant because they work at the rec center and that's where the kids are always like playing. So they're a good source of information. I don't know.
Either that or they're just at some local playground somewhere, some big one. Maybe it's like an outdoor water park. Wherever it is, there have to be lots of kids and adults there.
That's true. And so in that case, Something should
because little kids don't have disposable income on their own for the most part.
Something should be, and should it? Because I was trying to work in racket with rackets, but that's too much of an awkward wordplay. But I think that I do like the idea of something being like at the playground. They're running some sort of business at the. They're running a protection? It's a racketeering at the playground. They're protecting kids from bullies.
Yeah, and anybody who doesn't pay gets bullied because the bullies are on their payroll.
Exactly. That's funny.
That is pretty much exactly mafia racketeering anyway.
And so do they have a kid behind a tree somewhere and they've got the bullies are all punching in the punch clock?
Are you want to do a punch clock joke?
How would you show and not tell that the bullies are on the mafia's payroll?
Well, you could always have Jimmy and Mikey talking about who's paid up for the week. And Jimmy says the name of one kid who is about to be bullied. And then as soon as Mikey finds out that they're paid up, Mikey calls off the goons. Just kind of snaps his fingers and shakes his head, and the bullies immediately leave the kid alone.
Oh, I like that. Maybe a little sniveling kid comes up and pays them, or they come up to a little sniveling kid and demand their $5, and then a bully comes up.
Jesus, how old is
a dollar.
Okay. Wow,
or maybe a quarter. Okay, I was dealing with two big numbers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think quarters is probably where we're gonna go with that, because we're time indistinct, but the time we're aiming for is quarters are plenty of money to a kid. That's the time we're going for.
Or do we circumvent money altogether and maybe they're trading Tucker and Todd trading cards? I
don't think that's what they'll be trading, but that's definitely going to be how they do their private card games.
Oh, that's funny. But they'd have some kind of, is it actual currency or is it child currency? Like bottle caps and shit?
No, I think just quarters is fine. They're still American.
Okay, the representation that I was imagining, though, was that a sniveling kid is demanded a quarter. He gives up a quarter, and then a bully is about to come and beat him up. But they do the little with the hand across the neck, and the bully looks over and stops and walks away, and then they hand him a nickel.
Yes, that's how money changes hands in the mafia.
Yeah.
But there's definitely room for a scene with a private backroom card game, and it's just them like playing with a collectible card game. It's not even poker.
Is it in the waiting room of a dentist's office? They're sitting around the little table playing a card game, or is it a toy store, the library, a daycare?
It is, in fact, still on the playground. It's like a
it's under the slide.
No, it can be under the slide, but back in the playground I was in when I was at their age, there were actually a few small, somewhat enclosed wooden buildings.
Oh, those tall
pyramid things? They were in fact like little huts.
Those little Jenga huts?
Kinda. But
were
yeah,
they were tall and dark brown.
They weren't that tall. They had an entrance on either end, but they were an enclosed enough space. They had a seat on the inside, on either side. So it was like two bench seats facing each other with a hallway between them, with an entrance and an exit on either end.
Oh, interesting. What a world.
But it was too small for an adult to fit into, but like small kids could easily get in and gather up in there.
Oh, that's funny. Is there anything in one of those, like, do you remember Bonkers or anything like that?
Yeah.
Those play places with the plastic tubes. Do we have any scene inside one of those plastic tube places? A McDonald's play place or whatever?
Something tells me some kid needs to disappear into the ball pit.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
I mean, he'll be found later because we're not murdering kids, but we need to make him disappear for the duration of playtime.
He gets lowered in by his feet.
Yeah.
He's just
head first into the ball pit with
you just
all
hear muffled screaming from the balls.
They're wet.
They've all been
Somebody peed in here.
Oh, I didn't know.
Somebody peed in here. Is that right? I had no idea. Kids are evil.
Who could have let that happen?
Somebody gets paid a nickel.
Oh, of course, yeah. Everybody gets their nickel.
Okay, these kids are evil. So they're doing all their mafia things, kind of trolling the playground. But as they're doing this, they need an objective, and that objective is they're still trying to track down this one kid that the person they tormented with that rubber hammer, not rubber, inflatable hammer, told them about. Are they on their way to the other side of the playground to go visit the lemonade stand?
So yeah, I mean, is there any kind of representation? Is there an analogous like law element? Are there cops of any type in this world? Or any kids?
Oh, obviously there are going to be like hall monitors and teachers' pets who tattle on kids.
Snitches, yeah.
Yeah, lots of snitches. But yeah, see, and there's lots of room for all of these various little scenes throughout the playground as they're moving through it. Because if you watch mafia films and stuff, no matter what, the hustle never ends. So they can be going out on an errand and they'll make 10 stops on the way.
Right.
Shaking down this guy, shaking this guy's hand, making a deal over here, etc. So they have lots of room to have various encounters on the playground as they make their way to the lemonade stand.
And so they are trying to hunt down this kid who. So we're saying that they stole one of their favorite toys.
Yeah, Mikey's favorite toy has been stolen, and the kid who took it first has now said that he traded it to so and so, and we gotta find so and so. Not all these kids have names yet. They'll look the same to me. So he's gonna have to travel down to the lemonade stand, because if anybody knows where so and so is, it's gonna be, I don't know, lemonade stand kid.
Well, I mean, is there? Because I was thinking maybe. Jesus, I hate it when that happens.
Stuttering asshole.
Too many thoughts at the same time. If the first kid traded it away, then that makes it feel like he didn't take it for any sort of like targeted reason. Is there an individual or a faction that has a central conflict with this mafia?
Probably just the snitches. There's no real rival mafia that I can think of, but if there is a rival mafia, that they're exactly the kind of people who will try to trade this kid for that toy. In fact, you know what? That's the toy is current. That's who has that toy now. It made it into a rival mafia.
Is the rival mafia
this kid who stole it just wanted the toy. He liked that toy. This mafia kid got some brand new fancy Ultra Mega Man, you know?
And so, okay, so it is purely just us following these kids as they try to track down the toy.
Well, they're tracking down the kid who knows where the toy is.
What would be considered? How does it possibly end then? Does it end with the toy being found, or the person who knows where it is being found, or has it been destroyed, or it's gone?
Actually, it ends with Mikey and Jimmy, our two mafia heroes, learning the location of the toy is actually in the possession of Mikey's biggest rival. That's how it ends. Something like this needs to end on a cliffhanger, because I've watched The Sopranos all the way to the end.
I have only
watched. That's how The Sopranos ends.
On a cliffhanger?
Yes.
I thought it was all a dream.
Nope.
Well, I wouldn't know. I only watched the first 4 episodes. I'm one of those.
Shame on you. But it does end on a cliffhanger. They're sitting down to dinner in a diner, watching the door, expecting somebody to come in that door and kill them. You hear the door open and close, and everybody at the table looks to the door, and then the screen goes black.
Oh, well, then that's obviously how we're literally going to end this. We're waiting for the kid with the information. This is supposed to be the final meeting, and then we don't get to see it.
Does that mean we're going to be sitting in some meeting place, of course? So, but we still need to make it to the lemonade stand, talk to the lemonade person who will point us in the direction we need to go, or no. The lemonade person says that they will arrange a meeting, and we need to go this place, and then that's where the meeting that this all cuts to black on can take part in. That's where that is.
Should it be? Because as much as we're doing, do we need one more point of contact before, or that will be 1, 2, and then the third one is the third comfort? Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, we've got lots of. How many points of contact do you want us to have to go through before we find the location of the toy?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I wasn't sure if we should meet 3 people that give us information, because the first would be the kid that took it. The second would be the kid that it was traded to. And then I was saying, should we add a third before we get to the next one? But the last step of waiting for the meeting will be the third.
Well,
But I guess that's not an actual
do we
conversation.
even find the kid that it was traded to? Because we're going looking for that kid, but we have to talk to our contact at the lemonade stand in order to find where that shifty kid is.
Well, yeah, because the kid at the lemonade. Oh, right, the kid at the lemonade stand isn't who it was traded to. He just knows who it is.
Yes, the kid at the lemonade stand is an information broker and knows where everybody is.
So the first kid who just took it because he wanted it and said he traded it away didn't tell us who he traded it to. Maybe he pawned it.
No, he said he said who we traded it to. He named the person he traded it to, but the person he traded it to is shifty and hard to find. So we got to talk to somebody. We got to talk.
Knows where he is.
Yeah, we got to talk to somebody who knows where everybody is.
Okay, I get it.
Let's say that he's homeschooled half the week, so this kid only shows up some days.
So then the info broker gives us the information. He sets up a meeting with this kid, allegedly. So does this kid still have it then, or did he get rid of it too?
He got rid of it too. That's why I have definitely had this happen to a toy of mine, by the way, where it's been traded and then traded and then traded and then traded and then traded. Way down the line, game of telephone, eventually got traded back to me by somebody I never even met.
Wow. Is it valuable to this day?
No, there's a piece of trash. I don't even remember what toy it was.
Okay, so so he sets up a meeting, and so the meeting is the second point of contact. The third is this kid. Do we get to meet with him? You said he traded it away again, so he sends us to a last person, and then that is the
last person is probably going to have to be some associate or member of the rival mafia. So that way we can end on the cliffhanger, but also the cliffhanger actually has a little bit of weight because Mikey finds out that his favorite toy is actually in the hands of his enemy. Because the more I think about it, the more I realize that the playground just is the mafia.
Right. So is this becoming too many scenes then? Are we ending on a scene where we're staring at a door waiting for a person to come in and then we don't get to see? Because I feel like that is such a nice little reference that we can set in a kid-like environment.
Yeah, I think that's how we ought to do it. Where is a place with, closed doors that they let children?
Chuck E. Cheese.
What doors in Chuck E. Cheese close that children are allowed behind that aren't to the bathroom? I guess that's where they're waiting. Bathroom?
Yeah. Well, that's a classic.
It's so-and-so's birthday on Saturday. He's going to be at Chuck E. Cheese. You'll be able to find him there.
Well, I think the idea that they're in, because don't they? I don't know about Chuck E. Cheese, but like in Kelowna, we had Scandia Golf, and they had the birthday room, which had those little animatronic things in it. So I thought it'd be kind of funny if these kids were in a darkened animatronic room, but all the animatronics are just turned off.
For now,
or maybe they're going silently. I don't know.
Oh, I definitely think if we have a bunch of animatronics that we should show them once and then never do anything with them, because I want to just kind of leave that little breadcrumb and then never do anything with it because I'm sick of animatronics.
Yeah, sure.
So we can leave just the tiniest suggestion that we're going to do something with it and then not.
Could you said playground already. I was going to say it's like the windmill on in the mini golf course.
Oh, inside of the windmill?
Yeah, that's like a meeting place.
Stuff like that is a meeting place if you're a kid. Yeah, okay. I like that. The mini golf course. That's a place that they could definitely go. They go inside either it's a windmill or it's a barn.
We're so stupid. Where do kids go?
I don't know. Kids go different places than they did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, kids could go just about anywhere because nobody cared what kids were doing. Now everybody cares so much.
That's kind of funny. When I was a kid, I had a treehouse, and at no point have we said at any point that any of these kids have a treehouse.
That's because we haven't really done anything with their personal domiciles. It's all been public places at the schoolyard and stuff.
Oh, our treehouse was in like the woods next to the school. I didn't have one in my yard.
Well, then you didn't have shit, did you?
Yeah, I guess that's true. It was a communal treehouse, but we made it, so we considered it ours.
Well, if you want these kids to have a treehouse, they can definitely have a treehouse. That would be the best place to toss other kids out of windows right into the safety netting that everybody installed because they knew kids would be tossing each other out of windows.
Yeah, there might be a treehouse that comes into play at some point.
Okay, so we've got our information broker has told us has set up a meeting with this kid, and we've spoken to this kid. This kid has told us that he's traded it away to gasp. not him, the Mikey's personal enemy, his fucking nemesis. He goes full Bricktop. And thus we go find this nemesis, and we're going to need to go to where we expect him to be. He's not there, and the door behind us opens just as we're turning about to leave. Is that close enough of a reference?
I think so.
Okay, so the door to maybe it's that kid's actual treehouse. Maybe that kid actually has a treehouse, or it's a communal one, but it happens to be owned by that particular mafia. Not owned, but occupied.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of almost imagined it being at the playground, and then the mafia just like takes possession of it because they have the most muscle.
Yeah, well, kid groups definitely do this to stuff, so it makes sense.
King of the castle.
So yeah, communal treehouse near the playground, but that's so and so territory. So they go there looking to find this guy where, on his own home turf. Nobody's there. The door opens, and just as they're turning to leave, and then with the closing of it, as it closes, that's the beat that causes the screen to go black.
Yeah.
Kids are evil.
There's a sign on somewhere in the park, like on the treehouse, that says like remember to share the playground, and it's been like spray painted out.
Spray painted or like crayoned and markered and stuff.
Yeah, crayon, of course.
Because this is still the innocence of youth, but they're dicks.
Ah, the innocence of youth.
And the evil of it.
Do you have much more that you want to squeeze into that one?
No, I think we've closed it. The only thing else that we could squeeze into it is just like more random scenes that they can come across in the playground. Not necessarily get involved in themselves, but just like stuff that's going on as they're passing by.
Yeah, we're almost kind of like more development of the Tattletalers, or the Tattletales, I guess. Because I almost sort of thought, I don't know if there's much room for it, but before it became about the guy hunting down his stolen thing, I thought it would become sort of like a what's that Michael Mann movie with Denzel Washington, and
was that the Equalizer?
No,
or one of the other ones.
Let me look it up. The drug money one.
Still not specific enough.
What the fuck? Why am I not seeing this?
Are you sure it was Denzel Washington?
I could have sworn it was. Let me look at his filmography. Well, maybe here. I know it was Denzel Washington. Maybe it wasn't Michael Mann.
Can't you just look at Denzel's filmography?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I'm going the other way, as though this is so important.
Well, hey, if it's good, then it can replace any number of encounters that occur between point A and point B.
Oh, it was Ridley Scott. I was thinking of American Gangster with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, and it's kind of specifically about a drug lord, an American gangster, and his specific relationship with like the cop that is after him. And so I wasn't sure if it was going to be more of like a Catch Me If You Can kind of thing, or Heat, I guess.
Well, those films usually have plenty of time to introduce their gangster characters and all of their activities.
Yeah, that's true. 3 hours is different than 3 minutes.
Yeah, we have to pick and choose. We can either introduce our gangsters and their gangster activities, or we can introduce the coppers.
Actually, there you go. How about
that? if there are any tattletalers out there that are after these guys, it has to be like the kids of Ken and Ted.
Oh, that's cute, and I like that. But I was gonna say, how about this bit is introducing this world, and then we can, because we're ending on a cliffhanger anyways, some of these characters can be brought back to do an American Gangster story, and we can flesh that out a little bit more, and it can be about that.
And we can actually tackle the relationship proper between the cops and robbers.
Yeah, the Sherlock Moriarty relationship.
Or in this case, it's a couple of nice Minnesota boys who are every bit as non-confrontational as their fathers, trying to deal with these thuggish brutes.
I like the. I do like
their licorice.
With their licorice, yeah. I do like the idea of Ken and Ted at some point coming across. They're always used to dealing with people very much like our fugitive in the piece, where he's just dealing with them kind of like evenly taking them as they come, but someday they meet
Yeah,
somebody.
he's mostly passive.
Yeah, they're all very passive. They've been used to passive people their whole life. I like the idea that they sometimes meet somebody who's like an actual real world straight man criminal, and he's like aggressive back to them, and they're kind of taken off guard.
And I think the person who's going to be aggressive to them is going to be one of these mafia children. So it's going to be a flip turnaround where it's a child who is menacing an adult.
Putting them in their place. Them getting all indignant, like, hey, just wait a second. Don't you forget who's the law keepers around here.
And then, of course, Mikey looks to Jimmy and tells him to give him the hammer, and then it just busts out the squeaky inflatable hammer. But it's just such an aggressive act that these Minnesota cops don't know what to do.
They flinch and wince.
Yeah, just with every squeak, they're like, hey, that's uncalled for.
We need backup. Man down.
You won't be calling anybody. Joey here's a pickpocket.
He's got his mic.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Walkie radio.
He's got his walkie, and he's doing trucker talk on it.
Actually, have you ever read the Roald Dahl short story, The Hitchhiker?
I don't believe I have.
It's a good one. It's about literally a guy picks up a hitchhiker and he gets pulled over by the cops, but then the hitchhiker turns out to be an amazing pickpocket and pockets the notepad from the cops, and then they go to the horse races and pickpocket a bunch of people, and then they have a good time.
Interesting.
But that might be a fun premise.
Is there any chance that this pickpocket is a world-class pickpocket who happens to remove the driver's belt while he's sitting there?
That sounds familiar.
Because I dimly recall reading that in a short story. Like a pickpocket who can take somebody's watch, but he was so good that he managed to take this guy's belt while he was sitting.
Yeah, like it's ludicrous.
And this guy was behind him.
Yeah.
Now that's a pickpocket. And we definitely need one of these kids to be on that level.
Oh, he's the artful doctor. Consider yourself a friend.
You've been waiting for this.
I think I actually referred to it once before.
I know, and that's why I know you've been waiting for an opportunity.
So we've got a little not Darwinian. What's that guy's name? A Christmas Carol.
Oh, I don't remember the name, but I know who you're talking about.
Why can't I remember one of the most, not prolific, I would say, but one of the most, Jesus Christ.
One of the most important Christmas films of our history?
Well, not just the Christmas film. What's his goddamn name? Charles Dickens. Dickensian, that's what I was going for. A little Dickensian orphan boy is one of our mafia kids.
I mean, if anybody's going to be scooped up by those guys, it's him.
I like it.
He's a happy-go-lucky scamp who happens to be a real good pickpocket.
Yeah.
And yeah, these Minnesota cop dads are easily overtaken by kids with licorice string. Okay, we've got a little bit of time left. Did you want to continue to iterate upon this or squeeze in a little something?
We could squeeze in a little something. I don't know if I have any. We have so much. I mean, we could maybe
we should do the Westboro Baptist Church takes a stab at diplomacy.
That was kind of funny.
It is kind of funny, and I don't think it's the kind of thing that would take very long to play around with.
No, because I think we're basically just coming up with quotes on signs.
Okay. Now that I think about it, I can't think of anything.
Well, I mean, okay, so currently, a sign, for example, says God hates
individuals who are queer.
It's now God finds homosexuals problematic.
Do we need to scrub it down even more than that?
Oh, please tell me how we can.
I think, okay, these are the type of things that I need to type out. I can't visualize words in my head this way. 1 second. So like along the lines of like monotheistic deities deliberate over the appropriateness of homosexuality. Not appropriateness, what's a better word? Efficacy?
Oh, I don't know if efficacy is what we'd be looking for. Monotheistic deities. What did you say they do? They're not debating.
I said they deliberate.
They deliberate.
But I guess that's not really hating, is it? Or are we boiling it down that?
We're boiling it down to opposition.
Yeah.
Not even going to use words like disapproval. Monotheistic deities refute the salvational quality of homosexuals. Practicing homosexuals.
I like practicing. I'm a lapsed homosexual.
Well, no. It's actually the stance of the Catholic Church that it's only a sin if you practice it. Your feelings can't be a sin.
I'm gonna say practicing homosexuality so that we don't do the person non-person based speech.
Oh, yeah, even just going into passive speech.
Monotheistic deities refute the salvation of practicing homosexuality, of those practicing homosexuality.
Yeah, that's going to need a big sign. Boiling this stuff down does not simplify it.
No, maybe that's the joke. Is the guy that used to sell standard size posters is like losing out business to the guy that sells big posters, and he's just rolling in the cash.
Nah, because he's just going to have to up his business and sell like additional picket signs that other people are going to have to carry next to the original one that continue the Twitter post, because it ends, they can only handle so many characters on one of these picket signs, so somebody has to come by with the follow-up posts to complete the thought.
That's true.
And that way we can make fun of Twitter too.
Okay, another one. Pray for more dead soldiers. Jesus.
What? Oh my gosh, these are so ugly.
They're so gruesome.
I take it back. This isn't very funny.
No, it's not. This is kind of boring.
That was a stupid idea.
Well, at least we killed some time. This is all getting edited out.
Well, then it's just wasting time.
It is just wasted time.
No, but there's still an opportunity for them to be included in like a very fast throwaway scene, like a transitional scene where they're just like outside with picket signs, but they say these things.
Yeah, I think it almost is just a single cutaway scene. It is almost like a Family Guy scene where it's like, have you seen the Westboro Baptist Church's attempts to appeal to the masses lately?
They're trying to modernize. They're getting woke.
Oh yeah, it's now the Woke Baptist Church.
The Wokeboro Baptist Church?
The Wokeboro Baptist Church, yeah.
Okay,
that's
it's funny again.
A better premise.
It's funny again.
That's kind of funny. Are they actually? So, are we making fun of of corporatization of the queer identity and all of that kind of thing? The whole LGBT month, Pride Month, everybody does a rainbow.
I would like to make fun of that without making fun of the people that they're actually just kind of taking advantage of.
Of course not. We are acknowledging that people are being taken advantage of, and so that makes them the bad guy. And especially if it's the Wokeboro Baptist Church, it's very obvious that it's the bad guy. And they already use rainbows in their imagery, so it's pretty damn close.
Now, if they're going to be taking part in the 1 month of, pretend support, are they still going to be in direct opposition? Or are they going to set down their evil picket signs for 1 month to be the Wokeboro Baptist Church, just for the duration of Pride Month?
I think that is more what this turns into. So this is not about taking their messages of hate and translating them into, what was Carlin's word? Spooky language? Spooky language.
I forget what he said, but the way he described the whole watering down thing. Maybe if we had kept calling it shell shock, those guys would have got the help they needed.
Well, and I mean, unfortunately, that didn't age well, because I think calling it PTSD is actually, calling it what it is actually the proper thing to do. He didn't think the whole thing out, but I like the direction that bit was going.
Yeah, I can appreciate the sentiment without agreeing with the example.
But it was also the 90s and we didn't know. He didn't know. But anyways, point being, they for a month are going to go to the same places that they always have, but they are going to participate in Woke Month, and they're going to become the Wokeboro Baptist Church, and they're going to start putting all sorts of over the top olive branch extending, or whatever you call it, patronizing.
How over the top are we talking? Like, maybe it's really low effort and it's just like a rainbow sign that says be gay.
Gay is good. God likes gay.
I don't know if they would ever be able to stomach writing that much. Maybe it's just a sign that says gay.
Well, I wasn't sure. Is that the joke where they are itching, like they're having an allergic reaction to all of their wokeness and they can't wait for the month to be over?
So they're on this PR campaign, but none of them want to be there and they all hate it. Hate it even more than the people they're supporting.
But as long as the money keeps
very uncomfortable. Where the hell are they getting money from anyway? Or are they getting like all kinds of corporate sponsorships because they're now woke?
Yeah, that's how it works.
That would be just insidious enough. And the fact that the various businesses would be big heartless businesses, not small town mom and pop, but corporate interests would be willing to sponsor them, it would also kind of show how shitty the corporate interests are.
Well, of course. I mean, I think their actual grift is that the whole family is lawyers, and the reason that they wave all that shit around is so that people assault them so that they can sue them. That's the actual grift. And so maybe during Pride Month, they sue the Catholic Church for not being tolerant enough.
I think they would have to sue evangelicals because the Catholic Church is plenty tolerant within the law as it is.
Oh yeah, I guess we do. We have woke Pope now. So woke Pope does the corporate sponsorship with the Baptist Church.
But I definitely like the idea of the Wokeboro Baptist Church getting a bunch of corporate sponsorship during Pride Month, which shows how villainous everybody involved is.
Morally bankrupt.
Yeah, but not the other kind of bankrupt, because they're all laughing to the bank.
Quite the opposite, yeah. Okay, how does it... So it ends, and so they're all kind of like vomiting and breaking out.
Yeah, I don't know if at least one person will vomit right into a trash can. Others will be like nervous sweats, and one of them should be particularly gross and just sweat right up through a white shirt and render it transparent.
So
that's gross.
Are they making new signs, or are they like taking one of their old signs that says like "gay is bad" and then they cover up the "is bad" part, and then they're like, ugh.
All they gotta do is flip it around. It's a two-sided sign. They're very efficient.
Oh, that's funny, because as soon as it switches over, they're waiting for midnight, and then they switch their signs around.
That's right. That's right. They don't want to miss a moment. They don't have time to drop a sign and pick up a different one. They just flip this thing around, which is exactly what, corporates do. Month's over, don't need you anymore.
So is it sort of about their meteoric rise over the course of that month? They start trending on TikTok or whatever, everybody's talking about them, and then as soon as it switches back, they've got their big... Maybe it ends, the last scene is them in, like, I don't know, some sort of like arena tour, and they've got all sorts of like dying fans screaming and cheering for them, and as soon as it ticks down, now Pride Month is over, their signs switch around, and they start, everybody's like, everybody's cheering, and immediately stops, and everybody goes, oh, and then the arena empties out. I don't know.
Oh, no. As soon as they turn it around, the arena would only just get more full, but now it would be full of rabble, rabble, rabble.
Oh, interesting.
Now that they have all this extra attention, as soon as they turn that thing around, their popularity is going to explode even further.
Right, because they can't...
It doesn't matter if they hate you, so long as they keep saying your name.
Interesting.
And it's a little trick they can refresh every year.
Yeah, that's true.
All they have to do is like a short YouTube apology video, and then they bring out the support sign.
A YouTube apology in Mandarin.
Ugh, why?
Because John Cena.
I still don't quite understand that meme.
Oh, so he made a statement that I believe he said China and Taiwan, like he said Taiwan was a country, and China got mad because...
Oh, yeah, that's a big no-no.
Taiwan isn't a country, it's China. And so in order for them to sell more Fast and Furious movies or whatever, he had to apologize in perfect Mandarin so that they didn't think that he actually thinks Taiwan is a country.
Yes, I'm sure the simple act of him apologizing completely rewrote his opinion on the matter.
I think that's how it works. If somebody puts their face in front of you and words come out, that's just facts, right?
According to YouTube apology videos, that's right. And that's exactly what the Wokeboro Baptist Church is going to rely on year after year.
Well, maybe we should I think we've kind of sort of made fun of apologies in some way, but it would be kind of funny if it was John Cena and his like makeup is running as he's like crying into the camera vlog style.
So is John Cena going to be doing the YouTube apology video for the Wokeboro Baptist Church?
That's funny. Maybe he is, yeah.
Do we really want to bring John Cena into that world? Lump him in with the Westboro Baptist Church dickheads? Poor John Cena.
I don't know.
All he ever did was believe the truth. China.
All these people getting persecuted for stating the truth.
Yeah, okay, like that ever happened in history ever.
Don't we have another bit somewhere else about a witch hunt? Maybe John Cena is one of the witches being hunted.
Are we actually going to have China do the witch hunt?
I can't remember what we actually said for that one. I can't remember what it's about.
Because I think we're just about at our yearly quota, like our maximum of mentions for China ever.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah, we were gonna have a witch hunt that was also a wild goose chase.
Oh, I remember. I mean, I vaguely remember.
Ducks weigh the same as a witch. A duck hunt. Oh yeah, because it was Duck Hunt the game. It's called Duck Hunt. A bunch of bluebirds that look like the Twitter logo are trying to lynch a duck using logic loops.
That's pretty much purely visual.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've been recording for long enough.
Yeah, we actually spent almost a full hour recording our dialogue.
That's true. We went.
I thought that would only take like 10, 15 minutes.
Was it an hour for the whole dialogue, or did that also include the Matrix talk?
That included the Matrix talk.
Okay, so we're good. But also, do remember that when in the episode, in between us doing our dialogue, there will be Craig doing descriptions, so that stretches it out to be longer anyway.
Yes, that's also true. I'm not concerned about there not being quality. There's still 2 hours of recorded material.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It'll just be slightly disjointed compared to last week's episode.
That's okay. They can't all be the same.
No, but I do enjoy getting to break it up a bit.
Well, because we envisioned it as a variety show, and so it's kind of cool if some of that breaks into the podcast bit.
Especially when I fuck up doing voices.
Who made you king then?
You don't vote for kings. Well, I didn't vote for you.
You do vote for Blackface Murder Co.
Remember that we have to bleep out their name.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
So I guess it'll just be like, beep Murder Co.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the Murder Co. part has to be in there. Otherwise, they have to be, Victor Villain Von Evil Satan. That's the CEO.
And Sons.
And Sons. It's a family racket.
Yeah, Von Evil Satan and Sons. We're also going to have to, at some point, come up with, I think we've sort of mentioned it in our discussions of the first Tucker and Todd movie, but we're going to have to come up with some sort of ruling body for our local universe.
That was the Council of Karens. Do we still want to do that, or is that becoming less tenable by the day?
I'm not actually sure. I think it might. I don't even know I don't know. Has the term Karen worn out its welcome?
I'm pretty sure the term wore out its welcome within week 1 of becoming an internet sensation. That's how these things go. But if it's been long enough since its original sensation and wearing out its welcome, eventually it will become normalized and acceptable, until like next year or something where it becomes a legitimate hate crime.
I mean, I guess we can always leave it up to some sort of democratic process where we create the character, and if it has any sort of positive audience response, or if even we like the way that it fits in, I still think it's very funny to have a galactic coven of haircuts sitting around a table.
Do they all represent different planets at this table? Is that what we were going for?
I think they might have, and there was just like one general Karen. But yeah, I envision them as a sort of like a galactic. Well, what's the Council of Ricks? This is the Council of Karens.
Well, naturally.
But
the Council of Ricks was so awesome.
It's a great concept. That is sort of a galactic ruling body. Do we have anything on Earth? We've talked about like queens and princesses. Is there something in our town that's close to us? Because we've come up with Abaddon, and we are now talking about this Murder Co. Is there like a general like president or something like that who interacts with these characters
of our town? We can have a mayor. We're gonna have a mayor, and I think it should actually be Colonel Sanders.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but like a really short, pasty, pale white guy with, Colonel Sanders' facial hair and haircut and his bolo tie in a white suit. He's totally out of place. There's no good reason why he's here except that I want him there.
Okay. And he represents government in general?
Yeah, he's the mayor of town. He's our local elected official.
But mysteriously, he also does sometimes have jurisdiction over problems larger than the municipal scale?
As the plot requires, I suppose. We've never really determined where his jurisdiction might actually end, because our town has no distinct beginning or end.
It's kind of funny. I guess, yeah, it's kind of funny that we've never run into him yet, despite all of the chaos we've caused.
Well, remember that a lot of the chaos kind of just occurs incidentally around us. It's not necessarily us as the cause.
Yeah, of course.
And also, we have yet to run into any cops either. Nobody's come to investigate us or why we happen to have been seen at the scene. That's too many scenes of all of these various incidents of chaos. Because at this present point, we're the only common denominator in any of them.
That's true.
So the mayor and a couple of cops probably should come knocking eventually.
Colonel Sanders and his cops.
Yeah, but I don't think they should be the Minnesota cops.
No, they are kind of menacing, silent cops.
Actually, I suppose Colonel Sanders wouldn't pay us a personal visit. He'd have his cops come and collect us and bring us to him, where he has a big desk and a really high-backed chair. And, of course, he's going to do the slow turn as we enter his office.
Oh, naturally.
Yeah, as you do.
But he's not doing the, what do you call that? Like the church steeple with his fingers? He's not tapping his fingertips together. He's licking the ends of his tips.
Oh, he he can lick his fingers, all right.
He turns around and he's finger licking.
Yeah, okay. As he turns around, he is licking his fingers. But then he should steeple them for a moment. And then if he's going to get out of his chair, he actually has to turn it so that it faces to one side of his desk or the other. And then he has to pull the lever so that it will lower down so that he can get out of it.
Oh, because he's very short.
Yeah, he's Tucker-sized. So naturally he likes Tucker best because he's the only person he can look in the eye.
So he's popcorn Colonel Sanders?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, popcorn Colonel Sanders. Yeah, he has to lower his chair so he can get out, and then he has to raise it back up if he gets in so that he can see over his big desk.
And he's got slicked back hair, and he's constantly pulling out a little can of pomade that says Colonel Sanders hair grease, or Colonel Sanders chicken grease, but then he puts it in his hair like pomade.
Yeah, I don't see why not. That makes sure he always smells like the herbs and spices.
I'm a Dapper Dan man. Oh, the herbs and spices. Yes, maybe he's got herbs and spices cologne.
I mean, everything about this guy is going to be a KFC pun. when he threatens people or bothers them, he's going to call them chicken pun.
His office is all white and red vinyl.
Oh yeah, it looks like the inside of like a KFC in the 60s. To him, it looks beautiful. KFC in the 60s.
And his exclamation is "good gravy."
Oh yeah, and it is good gravy.
Good gravy, and it is good gravy. He says that.
Yeah.
The camera.
Yeah, and then he looks at people. You're gonna be deep fried. I think we've just started kind of like a fast food chain magnate villain precedent. I mean, we definitely didn't start it. That was already a precedent, but we're gonna take it all the way past Silly Town and kick it through the uprights like it's a fucking field goal.
Yeah, I think so.
Because if we have the Colonel, Burger King is only down the street.
Oh, yeah, of course. The whole universe of these characters. They're like these Avengers types.
Yeah, but this town is the Colonel's turf.
Somebody kicked the bucket.
That was terrible. But now we're just carrying on, so it's probably time to wrap it up.
Carry on, carry on. Somebody's got carry on.
That bag needs to fit all the way into the seat in front of you.
Somebody's brought a vulture on the plane. On the plane. I'm in the plane.
Fill out a form. Fill in a form. Has everybody turned American?
Oh, that's one I don't care for. How East Coast people say I'm waiting online.
You're waiting online if you're on eBay.
Yeah. You're waiting in line if you're at the Apple Store.
At the DMV.
The DMV. That old gag.
It's not an old gag if it's still happening right now.
I guess that's true. I was watching a YouTube reaction and somebody watched Airplane for the first time and made a comment like, wow, this writing is so ahead of its time. It's like it even keeps up now. And it's like, no, dude, it's not that writing keeps up now. It's just that we're laughing at the same stupid shit even now.
Yes, our sense of humor hasn't progressed since then.
It peaked at Airplane.
Yep, and thus, after that, begins the slow decline.
You might even say The Descent.
That wasn't a too bad movie.
I like lines in it. Or do you mean The Descent?
I meant The Descent.
I've not seen it. It looked too scary when it came out.
It is too scary.
But I liked your observation that we are reaching the end of our episode. This has been another episode of the Tucker and Todd Show.
I'm Tucker.
And I'm Todd.
And this has been a show.
And that's Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Craig. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Can I get paid for this one?
fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend, Todd.